Last night, I saw something on the security cameras at McDonald's. Something that wasn't actually inside the restaurant. But when I reviewed the footage, that thing was looking directly at me. And since then, I haven't been able to stop thinking about it. I worked the night shift at a McDonald's on the outskirts of the city during the day. It's a completely normal place. Families eating, kids running between the tables, people coming and going all the time. The sound of the fryers, the soda machines, conversations blending together in the air. But after 2 in the morning, everything changes. The restaurant becomes completely empty. Clean tables, bright white lights illuminating a place that feels way too quiet. There are only 3 people left inside the building: the cook, the security guard, and me. My job is to watch the cameras. It's not an exciting job, but usually it's calm, or at least that's what I thought, until that night. It was exactly 3:12 in the morning. I remember the time perfectly because I was staring at the digital clock on the camera system. And because since that night, that number has been stuck in my head, I was bored, watching the screens without really paying attention. Screen 1, the kitchen. Screen 2, the counter. Screen 3, the dining area. Everything looked completely normal until I looked at the camera in the hallway that leads to the storage room, and that's when I saw it. A figure standing at the end of the hallway. Tall, very tall. It was wearing the costume of Ronald McDonald. Bright red hair, yellow suit, red stripes on the sleeves, and that painted smile. Completely frozen. It was standing still, not moving, looking directly into the camera for a few seconds. I thought someone was trying to prank me. Maybe the cook or the security guard. So I got up from the chair and went to check the hallway. The hallway was completely empty. The fluorescent lights were flickering, making that annoying electrical buzzing sound. Zzz. I walked to the storage room door, opened it. Inside, there were only boxers, metal shelves, and the constant hum of the industrial refrigerator. No one was there. No costume. No person. Nothing. So I went back to the office, sat down in front of the monitors, looked at the camera again. And that's when I felt my stomach drop, because the figure was still there, but TST, it was closer to the camera. That's when I decided to call the security guard. He arrived a few seconds later. I pointed at the screen and asked him, "Do you see that?" He stared at the monitor for several seconds. His expression went from confused to completely serious. Then he looked at me and said something that still gives me chills. "There's nobody there." I thought he was joking, but when I looked back at the monitor, the figure was still there, slowly moving its head as if it was watching me, as if it knew I was watching. The guard shook his head again. "There's nobody in that hallway." So we decided to check it together. We walked through the restaurant. Everything was silent. The machines were off. The white ceiling lights flickered every now and then. We reached the hallway, walked slowly, opened the storage room door, and again, no one. We went back to the office. I looked at the monitor again, and that's when I knew something was very wrong, because now Ronald McDonald was in a different camera, the kitchen camera, standing right behind the grill. And then it started moving, not in the real restaurant, on the cameras. Step after step, it crossed the kitchen, then the hallway, then the dining area. The screens showed every movement, but in the real restaurant, we couldn't hear anything. No footsteps, no doors. Not a single sign that someone was walking there, just silence. Suddenly, the figure stopped right in front of the counter camera. It leaned forward, very close to the lens. So close. Its face filled almost the entire screen. And then it raised its hand and started waving directly at me. I had no idea what was happening. So I did the only thing I could think of. I checked the old recordings. I thought maybe it was a system glitch or some old footage mixing with the new recordings. But when I checked the files, I felt a cold wave run through my chest. The night before, the week before, the month before, every single night, exactly at 3:12 a.m. The same figure, the same Ronald McDonald costume, walking through the restaurant. But that wasn't the worst part. The worst part was when I reviewed last night's footage, I moved the recording forward slowly, second by second, until I reached the moment when I was sitting in front of the monitor in the dining room camera. You could see me clearly, me sitting in the chair, looking at the screens, completely alone. Or at least, that's what I thought. Because behind my chair, there was someone else, a tall figure, red hair, yellow suit, and that painted smile. Frozen. It was Ronald McDonald, standing right behind me, looking at me and smiling while I kept watching the cameras without knowing it was already there.